What's up, everyone? It's Cosmic Love back with another video, and today I just wanted to talk about healing for a little bit. Um, Looking at the world today and knowing what I know now, the world needs so much healing, like so much, but it starts with the individual person, meaning you. It starts with you. You watching this video, it starts with you. You that looks back at yourself in the mirror, it starts with you. You have to heal that inner child. And it sounds cliche, especially if you've been on this soul's journey, a spiritual journey. But it's true. You have to learn to heal that inner child, because most of our traumas happened when we were a child. And I think it's because, it happened while we were a child and we carried into adulthood because we don't realize that this event affected us the way that it did. And we go throughout life, sorry for that long pause, but we go through life, conducting ourselves, and we feel like we know who we are, and I for a long time thought I knew who I was. Excuse me. But I didn't really know who I was. And when I say know who you are, that means knowing the good and the bad and the ugly. And what's healing is we're going to concentrate more so on the bad and the ugly, because this is the bad and the ugly can cause us to react a certain way, and a way that's not so healthy, a way that is very toxic, either to ourselves or to others. I will say that healing is not a pretty process. It is beautiful in the sense that you get back to who you are. You learn to heal the inner child. And for me, healing was, they say be to your inner child who you wanted or who you needed then. But also learning what those childhood traumas are, so that when they physically manifest themselves, whether it be an emotional outburst or a fit of anger or just deep sadness, things like that, you have to understand when you've been triggered. So when someone does something and it makes you feel a certain type of way, you have to you have to stop and sit and think about what it is that's, one, making you feel this way, right? 2, why are you feeling this way? And 3, how to process what it is that you are feeling. And this is a way to heal. Now, there may be other ways, but this is just my way, and if it resonates, you can try it. I had an incident a couple years ago where, it was like literally there was nothing wrong. Like, there was nothing bad wrong, but it triggered me in a bad way, in the sense that I felt sad and alone. And this brought forth, the issues I have with abandonment. And I sat with myself and my thoughts and my feelings, because I needed to know why. Why am I even feeling this way? And what may have caused me to feel this way? And how do I address it in future instances? I felt abandoned. That was one. Two, I pinpointed the origin of this abandonment feeling, which was my father abandoning me at a young age. Two, how can I process this in a healthy way? Now, in this instance, I wasn't toxic to anyone in that moment, but I was toxic to myself. Because I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me when there's nothing wrong with me. It's just how that made me feel when it really shouldn't have had that effect on me, because like I said, there really wasn't anything wrong. No one was mad at the other, or no one was beefing. I just felt sad and alone. And it brought back up feelings of abandonment. So, and this process is not simple as 1, 2, 3. Like it takes time for you to figure out and understand how this works. And once I understood what it was and what caused it, I was better able to just process it. And for me, in this instance, how to process that emotion for me would to be, one, when I get that feeling, acknowledge that I have that feeling. Two, it's like, well, you're never really alone. It's just the way that I feel right now. But I have to remind myself that I'm not alone. I have myself if I have no one else. Like, sometimes it's as simple as that. And sometimes, it may require you to sit down and meditate somewhere, or to sit down and be alone with yourself. Because you need to understand, you have to have a better understanding of who you are. And also, and not just you heal yourself, and along the way you'll heal those around you, just in the sense of you'll forgive people that may have hurt you in a certain way, or made you feel a kind of way, or they actually did something to you. And forgiveness does not require you to sit that person down and say, listen, I forgive you for what you did. It's sitting down with yourself and just understanding, you may not know what this person went through, but just simply understanding that this person was dealing with their own issues. And this is how it manifested itself. Now, it's not saying that this person, just all out forgive them, now y'all BFFs. No, it's just simply understanding. To me, this is how this is what I've come to understand along my healing journey. And it's made things easier for me. It's made it easier for me to heal, made it easier for me to forgive. And like I said, with the traumas, or I may have said y'all, because it's taken me like 35 million videos to even make this video. And when I say I just wanted to throw my phone and just say fuck it all, like pissed. But the traumas, we tend not to realize that we even have these issues, right? I didn't know I struggled with abandonment and rejection and feeling unworthy. But those very things, when I was able to name them, it made so much more sense. And I kind of went back through life and kind of saw where those things affected me and how I reacted, which was not necessarily healthy. And you realize the people Now, I can't say that I necessarily had anyone around me that was toxic, as in themselves, but some things that they may have done have affected me in a way, and I carry it into adulthood. Like my mom, growing up, of course, as a child, we weren't able to speak out of, not out of line, but if your mom was like, well, I need you to do so and so and so and so and da da da, and then you're like, well, I think maybe it would be better if you did it this way, or, well, I feel like this, things like that. And not to be disrespectful, but we couldn't speak without it just being seen as disrespectful. And so therefore you get popped in the mouth or whooping or punishment or whatever. And that affected me into adulthood, because I find it hard to speak up about how I feel about a situation, or how someone made me feel, or just simply saying, no, I don't want to go, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. That's how it affected me, because I was terrified of how the person would react. Would they be angry? Would they be ready to fight? Would they just not want to be bothered with me anymore? Like, that's how it affected me. Excuse me. Now, that is not something terrible. It's something that I just had to grow up and become aware of, and to make a conscious effort to change that. So when I'm in a situation where I don't like something, or even if I do like something, I have to make that effort to verbalize it. But especially if I don't like something, if I don't want to go somewhere, if I don't want to do something, if what you just said or did makes me feel a certain kind of way, whether it be bad, indifferent, I'm able to speak up. And, I make sure to put that into practice in my everyday life. And this is a way to heal. And, like I said, that's not a big trauma. That's not a trauma that's just left me, unable to cope. Another instance was my dad, leaving my life. And as a child, I didn't realize that I had put up walls around my heart. Walls to keep me protected from that kind of pain again. Because I learned I have issues receiving love, accepting love when it is given to me. And we stop ourselves from receiving love by, if someone does a kind gesture, we're either questioning it, well, what they want, or what this mean. He show? Yeah. Or even just, we can't accept the kind gestures. And sometimes we can, don't get me wrong. But for me personally, I made it difficult on myself to receive love. So now that I am fully aware of the trauma, where it stems from, I have to remember that, one, not every person is my father. And of course, I really have that issue with men. So I have to consciously be aware that every man I meet is not my father. And just be aware that if someone does something nice for me, to simply accept it. That's all. Just accept it. It doesn't have to, you don't necessarily have to, somebody brings you a cup of tea and now you're trying to figure out how to repay them. That was my issue. Just receive. To just receive. Simple. And I mean, a cup of tea. And my own child. I have issues receiving love from my own child. And I know that sounds fucked up. Like, how? How can you not receive love from your child? And I don't. Well, like he made me a cup of tea one night. I was in my room chilling, and he wanted some tea, so he made him a cup of tea. Well, he comes in the room and he brings me a cup of tea. I made you a cup of tea. And now I'm like, well, I didn't ask for no cup of tea. And he's like, I know, I just wanted to bring you a cup of tea. And I'm like, no, I don't want a cup of tea. Put it back on the kitchen counter. I don't want it. That was a waste of tea. Like, I'm just going. Like, not too bad. Like, I'm not cussing and all that, but I'm just fussing. Like, I didn't ask for no tea. Who told you to bring me tea? I didn't ask you. Now you done wasted tea and honey. And it took for, I'm not laughing at the situation. It took for somebody else to say, well, that was mean. Just take the cup of tea. Even if you don't want it, you take it and you sit it on the nightstand. And I was like, oh. I had blocked myself from receiving such a simple gesture. He just wanted to make his mommy a cup of tea. And here I am popping off like, just take the cup of tea. It was that simple. So I've realized that I have issues receiving love. Even the simplest gesture, just, I don't want it. That's basically how I'm presenting myself, is I don't want it. But I do. And so I've realized now I have to make that conscious effort to accept those small gestures of love from my son and from friends, from anyone. Like, and it's hard, y'all, because I'd be like, just take it. Say thank you. Appreciate that this person thought enough of you to include you. And it's like, it left me, like, I was shocked. It left me bewildered. Like, I just, like, why? Because in my eyes, I was the sweetest person you could ever meet. But kind of not really. I realized that I had blocked myself off, and I mean blocked myself completely off from receiving love. And it's deep, because those walls were built initially to protect me from that hurt that my father had done to me. It was to protect me from ever, if I was to ever run into that again, it wouldn't hurt so bad. But I carried those walls into adulthood. And now, instead of protecting me, it's hindering me. It's doing more harm than good at this point. So now, my healing for this particular incident is to just make the effort to be aware that someone does love you. You don't have to question it. Like, whether it's just being kind, they're being kind to you, or it's someone who actually truly does love you. Just accept it. Like, it's so hard. And it's like, for me personally, because I am someone who loves love, always have, for as long as I can remember. I've loved. Like, it's just, it's the best feeling in the world. But I can't receive it. And I feel like a robot when it comes to that. Like, I can't receive it. But I want to receive it. So therefore I'm going to work on it. And I feel that may have been what's blocked me from, healthy relationships. And, I see people with bigger traumas than I who are in happy relationships. And it's like, well, fuck. It's just I built those walls to protect me from it. Like, and even from my own son, like, it's my son. Of course I'm supposed to accept his love. But like I said, it's just even the smallest gesture of love, of kindness. Just accept it. I had saw a video once, and he was saying to just accept the love that someone is showing you. Someone says, "Oh, you look really nice today," or that color, that's your color. To just simply accept it, say thank you. You don't have to fish and try and find a compliment for that person. That person came over to genuinely compliment you. Hopefully, they weren't looking for anything in return. But someone comes to compliment you, say thank you. That's it. It's that simple. Yet I have the hardest time with it. But I'm working on it, and that's what matters. So when you're healing, you have to be able to sit down with yourself and say, well, what's the issue? And it doesn't all happen in one conversation. Because honestly, for the longest, it took me forever to get to this point. And that's just in a couple years since I've started this soul's journey. It's taken me, because I'm a person that wants to get to it now. Like right now. I need to know all the information right now. I need to know why, when, where, and how. That may be another, not necessarily toxic, but just something, I'm more aware of within me. You can't get it all right now. It's steps to this shit. It's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? You can't get it all right now. But in healing, and when you're healing, please be gentle with yourself. Do not be harsh with yourself. How could you not? How could you this? No. Understand that if it's something from the past and you made a decision or you did something that you didn't like even back then, but now take the time to realize that was a choice you made back then. And it's okay. And to forgive yourself. Forgiving self is another step to healing. Forgiveness of self. It's not all about just forgiving someone who done you wrong. No. It's about forgiving yourself when you've done you wrong, or you've done yourself a disservice. So when you're healing, take time to yourself. It is a process. Everything on this journey is a process. It's just that simple. You will not go from 1 and get to 100 all in one day or all in 1 year. It's a process. And in this process, please be gentle with yourself. I know I did that back then, but I don't want to do that anymore. So you make the conscious effort not to do it anymore, to catch yourself. Even because there are times where you will find yourself, you have slid back. You have fallen off the wagon. It's okay. Get back up and do it all over again. Try again. It's so cliche. Try dust, you fall, dust yourself off and try again. But it's the truth. And as time goes on, it'll get easier and easier for you. But be kind to yourself. Be loving to yourself. Love yourself. Healing is not simple by any means. Some things may be more simple than others, but just take the time. Take the time to learn who you are. And it's okay. And along this healing journey, you will lose friends. You will gain new friends. You may gain have old acquaintances that come back into your life. You may meet new acquaintances, new lovers, new friends, even new family, because just because it's blood don't mean it's family. I need you to say that out loud. Repeat that. Write it down. Tweet it. Just because it's blood don't mean it's family. Because sometimes family can be your worst enemies. And I'm not saying that coming from a toxic family. It's just I know, and I think they're the worst because, of course, it's family, and we tolerate more from them because they are family. No, do not do that to yourself. I hate when people say, oh, well, that's still your mama, that's still your daddy, that's still your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your granddad. Listen, if mama and them are toxic to me, however they are, whether they do stuff, they're not supportive, they say mean things, or they're abusive, or they, sweep things under the rug type thing, just, they're just not good for you. It's okay to distance yourself from them. For some people, it may be cut them off altogether. I only see you on Christmas, or, type thing. I call you once every 6 months. It's okay to do that to family. It is okay. Because at the end of the day, the only things that matter is that you're happy. Of course, we do things to make other people happy and make them smile. But when it's all said and done, you're left with yourself. Yourself. That's it. So you need to, and you should want to make sure that you're happy. And it may require you to be alone for a while before you find, your tribe or your peoples or whatever. But you will find them. And it's once you heal, once you heal, the more you heal, the higher your vibration is what I'm trying to say. So, I've done some healing. There's more to go. And the more healing I do, the higher my vibration. And and I bring in people that meet me at my vibration, that are the same vibration as me. They can't be higher and they can't be lower. No one is greater than the other. It's just, we have to be able to vibe, period. And even if it's somebody like, oh, but I love them. And it's hard to let go of someone that you love because you say you simply love them. But when it's time, it's time. And you only do yourself a bigger disservice by continuing to keep them in your life when it's simply time for them to go. And it doesn't always mean when someone leaves your life, it's not always for good. Sometimes they come back. You just had to part ways, right? Because at this point, you're no longer a vibrational match. You part ways and you both go about your life's journeys, right? And you have experiences, you meet new people, you travel to different places, things of that nature. You have your own life experience without this person. And it's hard because you miss this person and you're like, oh, if only he or she was here. I would love to experience this with them. But it's not meant for you to experience it with them. It's meant for you to experience alone or with whoever is in your life at that time. But because you separate doesn't mean it's always. You can separate now, but you could come back together years later. and now you're a vibrational match again. Could be. It's not all the time. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen that way. Sometimes people are gone. They're gone for good. You don't see them or hear from them ever again. It's no beef. It's nothing of the such. It's just they're gone over there. I love you, and I wish you all the best. And that's my thing for everybody. It always has been. Even I remember as a little girl, saying that I loved everyone and I wish the best for everyone, period. I do. Everyone deserves the absolute best. Don't know, there's no reason why they shouldn't. Now, I do understand that there are bad people in the world, but me being who I am, I understand that they are this way because something happened. And I wish it hadn't happened to them, and I wish they had a better way to express whatever it was that they went through. But I'm going to do that from over here. Let them stay over there, right? Just over there. I wish you love, peace, and happiness and all that good stuff from over here. Like you over there. But I'm over here. Like I'm not, no. But, it's okay to heal. It's okay to distance yourself from people who you once thought were your bestest best friend, or your good girlfriend, or your best friend is a guy. Whatever. It happens, and there's no reason it should be done with ill intent or ill will or malice or whatever. If somebody stops talking to you, don't take it personally. Even if it is personal, just go about your life. That's not your concern. That's their issue to deal with, not yours. But I think that's all I wanted to say for now. The wind is really picking up. I guess it's about to rain again. This has just been the rainiest spring ever. Like, I know it's supposed to rain in spring, but Jesus, can't breathe out. Anyway, but heal. Healing requires you to sit with yourself and hold yourself accountable for your actions. It's okay. It might be something you be like, oh, I wouldn't shit for that. It's okay. Ain't nobody around here you. Ain't nobody but you and the good Lord above, or whoever it is, whoever your higher source is. God, Spirit, Source, Mother Nature, just whoever your source is, that higher source that you believe in. Don't nobody know but you and them, unless you decide to share that with others. But we really need to heal. We really do. And along with healing comes self-love. And because with self-love, like I say, you hold yourself accountable, and you do what you need to do to make those things better if it's something that you don't like. But anywho, before I go off ranting again, and it starts pouring down on my head, have a good day. Don't let anyone ruin your day or anything or any statement. I love you. I love me. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, please. And I'll talk to you guys next week or maybe later this week. We'll see. Love ya.